Howdy, y'all. This is Proverbs 16 in the ESV, but it's June 17th, 2023. I slipped. The plans of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of a man are pure in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirit. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. The Lord has made everything for its purpose, even the wicked for the day of trouble. Everyone who is arrogant in the heart is an abomination to the Lord. Be assured he will not go unpunished. By steadfast love and faithfulness, iniquity is atoned for, and by the fear of the Lord one turns away from evil. When a man's ways please the Lord, even his enemies be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues with injustice. The heart of a man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. An oracle is on the lips of a king. His mouth does not sin in judgment. A just balance and scales are the Lord's. All weights in the bag are his work. It is an abomination to kings to do evil, for the throne is established by righteousness. Righteous lips are the delight of a king, and he loves him who speaks what is right. A king's wrath is a messenger of death, and a wise man will appease it. In the light of a king's face there is life, and his favor is like clouds that bring the spring rain. How much better to get wisdom than gold, to get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. The highway of the upright turns aside from evil. Whoever guards his way preserves his life. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. It is better to be of lowly spirit with the poor than to divide the spoil with the proud. Whoever gives thought to the word will discover good, and blessed is he who trusts in the Lord. The heart of the wise is called discerning, and the sweetness of speech increases persuasiveness. Good sense is a fountain of life to him who has it, but the instruction of fools is folly. The heart of the wise makes his speech judicious and adds persuasiveness to his lips. Gracious words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the body. There's a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. A worker's appetite works for him, his mouth urges him on. A worthless man plots evil, and his speech is like a scorching fire. A dishonest man spreads strife, and a whisperer separates close friends. A man of violence entices his neighbor and leads him in a way that is not good. Whoever winks his eyes plans dishonest things, and he who purses his lips brings evil to pass. Gray hair is a crown of glory. It is gained in a righteous life. Whoever is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who takes a city. The lot is cast into the lap, but every decision is from the Lord. Alright, so previously I've recorded from the office chair at night and just held the phone. I was so tired last night, I was like falling asleep. I was on super duper squinty-eyed and just... Maybe I should have just done it that way, but I think I would have fell asleep and dropped the phone. So it was like that. Drove overnight, got, a little cat nap before I had to drive again because it's hard to sleep in a car and in traffic and it's just hard to get comfortable sometimes. And then, I'm covered in poison ivy. 2 little dots, and of course that means like my entire body's reacting. Anybody else get that? I feel like I wasn't allergic to it when I was a kid, or when I was locked out of the house and playing in the woods, but I had eczema, so I guess hard to tell which one was which, right? But man, now, it's like I'm pulling in, I got my gloves on, and I feel one little touch on the wrist, one little touch, and within a few minutes I can feel it burning. Skin is just not having it these days. I hear goats that eat poison ivy confer some resistance to poison ivy, so I just really don't want goats and have to milk another animal. I need a buddy that wants goats that we can share property and responsibility for. Tall order. Off topic, but why am I late? That is why. Should have done it yesterday, but packed all day, drove all day, or what day is it? It's Friday, so Thursday we packed all day, got stuff done, and then hit the road pretty well before midnight, but then immediately hit some traffic in Kentucky. So big old accident, taking up all 3 lanes of the interstate. Sat there for a while, had a long drive, coming through 59 on like Mississippi and Alabama, like a tornado must have ripped through and destroyed a chicken truck because there were dead chickens everywhere, trees down all across the interstate, no power for miles and miles. It's been a day, so by the end of the day, when we got home, did a little swimming, I'm super sunburned. Like, what is going on with my skin? Just from a few hours in the heat. And guess what? Today we have a pool party. So, yeah, I'm going to go and try to do that. I was just telling somebody this about the plans of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. So, we can make a plan of what we're going to say and what we're going to do, but we need to be open to the Spirit, and God will speak through us. It's really that simple. Even one of the rappers I like to listen to, a Louisiana boy, Kieran the Light, that's what he says, it's the Spirit speaking. All the ways of a man are pure in his own eyes. You can justify all your behavior all the time. Like if that's what you want to do, you will bend over backwards and bend Scripture and bend everything else to do it. And I mentioned this in house church last week. The Lord has made everything for its purpose, even the wicked for the day of trouble. I want to get deeper on that, because we were studying John 17 and Jesus, and there are different doctrines surrounding Judas, right? Judas was going to do what he was going to do, and he was just a person like all of us. And then, the fact that basically he was made to do that job, the son of perdition. So I need to get into that a little bit more about, the Lord makes evil for his purpose. Even the wicked. So is that gets into the questions of predestination, things like that, Calvinism. Because, there's plenty of examples of wicked kings, rulers, etc., people having their thoughts, emotions, patterns directed like a stream. Even the Proverbs say that the Lord can direct people's ways. So, I don't know. I'm not struggling with this. I want to understand more of this. And I wish more people were listening to these, because I'm sure somebody would give me a actually. Because I didn't get satisfaction at house church on that one. So, more for me to press in on. Many admonishments here to be fair, to not be arrogant, to get your money righteously, otherwise you'll lose it, or that it will not make you, it'll make you less than happy, it'll be destructive. The highway of the upright turns aside from evil. Whoever guards his way preserves his life. I'm trying to tell the kiddo the other day, people are going to do what they're going to do. You do you, and you should be following the Lord and staying on the path. Keep life real, simple. Better to be of a lowly spirit with the poor than to divide the spoil with the proud. Pride's like the original sin, man. That's what I keep coming back to. It's like the theme of the month, obviously. And a bunch of the verses above are talking about, what proud people do. There's something specific here, sorry. I lost it. I cover it every month we come around. There's a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way to death. So, got a lot of friends and a lot of opinions, pursuing things a lot of ways, and there's not a lot of happy people. Just thoughts. We need to, righteousness is bringing our way into alignment with God's way, right? A right relation. So we need to be parallel to it. I'm going to screw up any analogy, because then somebody might say, well, we should be intersecting with it, because then we'll be in God's way. Well, then do we leave God's way? Let's just say we want to be in right relation. If we're parallel with God's way, we're headed the same direction forever to the same destination, and the only difference is our closeness to God, right? So we've got the right relation, angles. Well, I shouldn't be doing both, right? This is why analogy breaks down. You got the one true reference, and then I'm wiggling it. So you got one true reference and a right relationship that we bring ourselves into. We get closer and further away from God as our relationship is orienting. Deep thoughts with Cheetah. I'm also getting calamine on me, my clothes, and the entire car. So that's super fun. 1 out of 10. Don't recommend. Alright, I need to go check in on the chaos inside, and I also need to record today's chapter. In any moment now, my father is going to be pulling in next to me. So let me get that done, because I am now starting to expect people to be pulling up to join the festivities. Sorry for the all over the board reading today, and sorry to be late. I'll try my hardest to not do it again. There's a proverb that was ringing in my head last night that if you fail, it's not the time of need. Basically, if you fail when you're tested, your strength is lacking. You're too weak. So I was like, oh. So I kept telling myself, I'm gonna do it. And I was like, I'm not gonna do it. Somebody would have told me I looked like death warmed over. I had a feeling, because I was all cross-eyed and squinty-eyed and yawning and fairly cross. Cheetah. I could admit that I was being short. So maybe that's exactly when I should have been doing it, right? Excuses. Also, got to figure out, what am I doing here, right? So this is the 6th translation on the Bible app. I'm now not using the Bible app. I'm using BibleGateway.com. And they've got so many translations. And then some other friends told me the Blue Letter Bible app, I believe it is, and that's got like parallel translations in it. So I do like the way that's formatted. You can see what you're reading, and then the Greek and the Hebrew, and I think it shows the Aramaic if it's got it. Not that yours truly can read Aramaic, but that will lead to, I'm sure, much more ranting and reflection to be able to see the translations together. But I've got to figure out, I'm going to continue to do Proverbs and more translations, because 6 plus a Spanish translation is what I've got on that Bible app. And then this one has so many. So do I do 6 more months, different translations in Proverbs, or do I cease reading the Proverbs on here, probably still listen to it and read it myself, and move to Romans, perhaps? Or do I do both? Do I take more on to do both? I know there aren't a lot of people listening to this. It helps me to do it, but perhaps Romans might be better to reach other people. I don't assume the content's going to be any better. I'm not going to suddenly be any better looking, stumble any less, read any nicer, have a nicer voice. So if you read this, be in prayer with me on what's next for this series. I also realize I'm way behind in my playlisting. So I've been uploading these videos and putting them in the daily Proverbs reading, daily growth, but I didn't put the translations in their own thing like I had been doing. And then the daily verse too. I don't think I've been putting those in the right playlist. And it has to do with the way I have to upload in the app. So it's nice to be able to be away from my place and not be able to deal with all the million things I need to do, around my own spot, because it allows me to stop for a minute and decompress and start to think about some of these things. 15-minute rant. Woo! 14 and counting. I'm going to go. The lot's cast in the lap. Every decision is from the Lord. Praise Jesus. Wife got a job offer, took the job, and quit her other job on the way home, or on the way here. So, good riddance to a very poor healthcare squad in a B grade, maybe C grade hospital. Goodbye. Back to the flagship. New career, new stuff. So, praise Jesus.